Such a good squad to choose from. We can afford to leave Grealish and Foden out of the group last weekend because of what he sees as a misdemeanour. They were unprofessional, of course. I'm sure they'll be invited back in, and the squad gets even stronger, and they just keep on winning.
On that subject, actually, a subject that became Moron Gate, thanks to you. As we know, Foden and Grealish out of order a bit, doing what they did, and then pitched up for a training session or a warm down the following day, described not to be in the right condition to do that warm down, and so were sidelined for the subsequent match. Pep was asked about this going into this Christmas New Year period. He was asked would he have to remind his players about their off-field behaviour? Have a listen.
In this type of career, in our careers, the work you do on and off the pitch is the same. It's the same. It's so important. So demanding physically, mentally. You have to live for that profession all the time, every single second. Otherwise, there are guys that they are going to live every single second this profession, and they are going to sustain for a longer the profession. But this message I've gave to them 6 years ago, every year, every month, many times. When they have to prepare, and there are a lot of players that live in this way. That's why we were consistent. We were consistent fantastically this last season.
You know, if he's the sort of guy, Martin, if he's saying to you, look, take it from me, you have to behave every minute of every day off the field of play, you have to do that for me, then I would say you're bound to listen, are you not? It's Guardiola, for God's sake.
Well, the players have to decide that they want to be on the right road, and they're young, impressionable young man, and there's a habit of behaviour, how you're going to have to work if you want to be a champion. If you want to continue to be a champion, this is how we work. And, you know, since when has it been acceptable to turn up to any workplace the worse for wear, for alcohol? That's thoroughly unprofessional in any situation. So those players were completely out of order for doing that.
Yeah,
but they were young.
They weren't in the right condition, it was described.
Well, it just says it all. So, and they need to be, even though it was just a warm down. We did warm downs all the time from an Arsenal point of view. I might have travelled 2 hours to get to work just to do a warm down, but you have to be there in a fit state. So no, I think it's right and proper that the manager's putting this in place, and he's just trying to create that right environment, that habit of behaviour for these young men on that vehicle to win things. And he can't drop those standards for anybody. It's the group that's more important than any one player, as good as those two are.
Do you think Guardiola have actually nailed it there, Simon, by saying, look, you want to go right to the very top, your off-the-field behaviour has got to be as immaculate as your on-the-field performances?
Well, you wonder why those players don't understand that already. And if there's any criticism of Guardiola, it must be that he's not imparting his message as clearly as he should be, because you've got a player that's been under his jurisdiction for some time, Phil Foden, who's had... And unfortunately, your past follows you, whether you like it or you don't, for all of us. So Foden was in trouble a year ago whilst we're on international duty, which, by the way, was a disgrace. And Grealish has got a trail behind him of silly behaviour. So you have to suggest that if they don't understand it now, they should have done, and Guardiola should be very clear in trying to make sure that they understand him, because they clearly didn't in the first instance.
Yeah.
But of course he's right, and Martin's observations are far more pertinent than mine, because Martin's been a champion. I know what winning looks like, because I've won and lost in my life, and I know what winners should and shouldn't do. And winning is always about giving your best. It's not always necessarily winning. If you give your best all the time, you'll always be a winner of some sort. But to be a champion, it requires a mindset of single-minded determination, discipline, respect, and all those that, alongside ability, give you an outcome. And we don't doubt these two boys' ability, but you've got a manager that's saying to him, and he brought all this into the public domain. He could have sheltered these players. He could have dealt with it internally. He chose to make it an offering for the public to pour over.
You have to demonstrate this is not serious. How can we be serious when we've got two players coming in and they look like they've had a drink? The other players look at it and think, are we going to allow this? We won't. The manager jumps in straight away, protects the group, tells them how they need to behave, and they stay on this middle road. And if we want to win something, we've got to stay on it. It's important. We drag everybody back onto that middle road, and these two will come back on again, back on that train, which is like riding through the UK and Europe at the moment. That's the next challenge for them, is to win the Champions League. But their domestic league now is so strong. These managers are absolutely... I would love to listen to Jurgen Klopp. I took issue with him a little bit last week about his dugout falling out in the dugout with managers, and Gerrard obviously responded to that. But this week he was talking about he'd love to have come to Liverpool sooner because he realised what a special group of people they are. And if he could have put the clock back, he'd have come there many years ago. And they got out of jail, didn't they, midweek? And that has to be that that unity that is there. But the managers, Jim, in this country now, honestly, the level is so high. And the tactics, the way they prepare the players, but their habit of behaviours, they don't ask the players to live in a way that they are not prepared to live themselves. And that's the difference.
You've often said to me the pride you felt when you wore the Arsenal shirt, not just playing, but also every other area of being an Arsenal player and the demands that were on it. Now, this man to my right called Grealish's behaviour moronic.
He chose the wrong word there. I think we all know that. I think it was probably unprofessional of the player.
You don't think you did you?
But
no, not at all.
Do you know? I think really with young people, we set the guidelines.
He's 26, Martin. He's a man.
We set the guidelines, and we sometimes expect them to make mistakes. But when they do, we have to clamp down on them. And obviously with Grealish and Foden, this has happened more than once. But I don't expect it to happen too many more times because they know where the door is.
It can't happen one more time, can it?
No, it can't. And if they want to be winners, they need to be dragged into line, and that's all that's happening in this situation. But then they'll be encouraged to play and express themselves on the pitch. So you won't hit them too hard, but they need to know right from wrong, and that's what's happening here.
Well, he's hit them hard because he's dragged them in the public domain. You can deal with it internally, and to use an expression like moron to describe a person is a recidivist, someone that does the same behaviour repeatedly, moves into feeble-minded, buffoon, moron, imbecile. These words are strong words, but you've got to call things for what they are. This is the guy that in the middle of the COVID lockdowns last year was standing on the side of the road in a slipper because he'd crashed his car. This is the guy that repeatedly was laying around drunk in holidays during the summers until such a time as he decided to be a really good footballer again.
Let's hope the penny drops.
And we hope that the penny drops because talent is the key component.
It is. That was a look ahead to the Supercharged Sporting action this weekend in partnership with Renault E-Tech vans.
Jim White and Simon Jordan, Monday to Thursday morning, 10 till 1. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.